Hello, credit union community. Here are your 3 topics for today's show. First up, mentorship can make or break a leader's journey. So what does effective leadership development really look like in credit unions? Next up, is there something banks are doing better than credit unions? And should credit unions borrow from their playbook? And finally, expanding branches into retail spaces. Has this strategy actually delivered the growth credit unions expected? Welcome to Grow Your Credit Union, the show where credit union leaders gather, learn, and grow. I'm your host, Joshua Barkley, and hey, we want this show to cover what matters most to you, so tell us what topics we should cover. Whether it's a LinkedIn post or an article, another podcast, or something you're dealing with in your role, send it our way at info@growyourcreditunion.com or message me directly on LinkedIn. Now, let me introduce my wonderful co-host for this episode. It's Becky Reed. Becky, welcome to the show.
Howdy, y'all.
Becky, I'm looking at LinkedIn. I'm seeing all the GAC posts. I probably liked 40 of your posts. You were probably in about 400 posts published by other people. Honestly, I'm feeling the FOMO. Talk to me about sort of what were the big trending topics at the event, and then anything else you want to tell me about just the good time you probably had. Make me feel bad.
Well, yes, it was a good time, but literally I was on my feet 6 a.m. until 10 p.m. every night. So, 12 to 15 hour days for like 4 days in a row. So it's tiring. All right. So what I would say was the theme of this year's GAC was change. There's been an administration change. There's been a lot of policy changes. And a little bit of uncertainty, but not in a negative way, not in a fearful way, but in kind of a like, oh my gosh, there's a lot's happening. How is this actually going to settle out?
And nobody knows. That's the end of this one. I know in my mind, I'm like, how will it settle out? Becky, as much as I love you, you are not a fortune teller. So with that said, we will see together how it settles out. Once again, I'm upset that I wasn't there, maybe next year, but we have a good show today, Becky. I'm very excited. Today on the show, we welcome the president and CEO of Michigan First Credit Union, Jennifer Barwi. Jennifer, welcome to the show.
Thanks. Glad to be here.
For credit unions, developing future leaders should be a top priority. Studies show that employees with mentors are promoted 5 times more often than those without. But mentorship can mean different things to different people. Jennifer, I mentioned to you earlier that I did go to the CUSE Future Summit, and we did a podcast with Sean Bremer and Elizabeth Osborne for the young leaders. And when I was looking out into the crowd, I was like, wow, a lot of people hungry for knowledge, hungry for leadership and development, the future of the movement. So my question to you is, your journey is actually ridiculously inspiring. You went from a teller to a president CEO. So if anybody knows about development, it's probably you. So my question, if the CEO version of yourself could go back and mentor your younger self, what specific advice would you share to make leadership development easier?
Well, first of all, thank you for the opportunity to share about my journey and what we do here at Michigan First. It's a great opportunity to talk about mentorship, not only here at Michigan First and what we do, but also for my own personal career path. I don't know that I would suggest it for anyone. A lot of times the stars just have to align. You have to be in the right place at the right time, and someone has to see something in you, and hopefully your skills and interests are a good match. If I were to go back and talk with myself, I would say that really what we tell a lot of our team members here, we want our team members to retire from Michigan First. We want it to be a career and not a job. And for that to happen, we want our team members to be passionate about what they're doing. Don't chase a job title. Don't chase the money or anything else. Chase what you're truly passionate about. And if you're true to yourself with that, and you know your values and you know what you like, and you follow that, the right opportunities will come at the right time. I wanted to be a teacher initially. I never would have guessed that I would have been here. And looking back as a student in college and wanting to be a middle school math teacher, I just never would have dreamt this career path. And I think that that's important to mention, because what I knew that I wanted in life is that I wanted to educate people. And as I was working a summer job as a part-time teller, I found that I just loved helping people. And in the space that I'm in now, I'm able to do both. I'm able to help from a financial education standpoint, a lot of people. I'm able to mentor team members and coach and develop other leaders to do the same. And then we're able to hopefully inspire a lot of people along the way.
Becky, if there's a time warp device that you could put yourself into and go back to your younger Becky self to talk about, hey, younger Becky, this is what you should be thinking about in developing your career path into a leader, what advice would you bestow upon that young Becky?
To Jennifer's point, I think that today's generation especially is so focused on finding their passion. And a lot of times that passion may not be the job that pays the bills, right? So initially when you start, sometimes you just have to get a job that pays the bills. And to Jennifer's, in her experience, what she found is you actually kind of end up maybe liking that. And so while you might dream, oh, I want to be a teacher or a fireman or a policeman or a nurse, a doctor, maybe that's not what pays the bill at the beginning. And so you kind of have to get there, and finding what makes you tick and understanding yourself is such a key piece to advancing in your career. And I would tell myself to find a mentor. Honestly, you just started the conversation with mentorship and young professionals and all of that. And when I was a young professional, I felt like I didn't need anyone else's advice. I felt like I had it all figured out and I didn't need to listen to anybody else. So I didn't seek out mentors. I didn't want to really sit down and listen to anybody. I didn't ask anyone to help me along my career path. I just was a bulldozer and paved my own way. And I think I would have gotten farther quicker if I would have asked for advice and help.
You know, I think you bring up a really good point. And coming here at Michigan First, I'm part of this highly experienced team. And you can't be afraid to ask questions and ask for help. And what I found here is that the team just embraced me and gave me a lot of grace and showed me a lot of patience. And in return, I wanted to make sure that I was doing the best for the organization and learning as much as I could about the culture and what we do, but asking why and not just bulldozing all of my ideas to the future and what we wanted to accomplish. Instead, I just took the time and learned as much as I possibly could.
That is great advice, both of you. Becky, you mentioned mentors, finding a mentor. And what I've noticed is I'm busy, Jennifer's super busy, you're super busy. How could someone in the industry find a mentor? Like, what would your advice be?
Well, my coworker, my partner at Bank Social, John Wingate, follows this methodology, and it came from kind of his idol, somebody he looked up to, which is Steve Jobs. And what Steve Jobs said is just ask for someone's help. Most people think about all of us here on this call. If somebody truly asked you, yeah, sure, you're busy, Josh. But if somebody in a genuine, sincere way asks you, Josh, I really would appreciate just a 15-minute coffee or something to share with me your experience and what you've learned in life, you're probably not going to say no to that. So just ask.
Credit unions versus banks. Okay, I can feel the animosity by just saying it. So We've mentioned this stat actually in an earlier episode, but the American Customer Satisfaction Index, they released some information. Basically, it said that banks are a little bit better at satisfying customers/members than credit unions are. So for the premise of this segment, let's just say that banks do things better than credit unions. Although I know my credit union people will be like, no, they don't. Let's just leave it there, folks. They do some things better than credit unions. And it just so happens, Jennifer, at one time you were a VP at PNC Bank. What is one thing or some things you've observed while working inside a bank that credit unions could adopt to serve their members better?
Well, let's just start with this. Banks can have more resources than credit unions. So that can result in better efficiencies, tools, more specialized roles, maybe maintaining technology in a better way. There are a lot of things that can come out of having more resources. But at times, this can also result in disingenuous and scripted situations. It can become more cookie cutter as more locations grow and expand. From the customer's perspective for the bank, that can become scripted from what they feel. At Michigan First, we provide our team members with guiding principles and trust that they're going to have the right types of conversations with members. And I think that's really important because while we want the same experience with every location or however the member interacts with us, we trust that our team members know the guiding principles and know how to have the right types of conversations. And I think it gives us more flexibility. It makes us hopefully come across very genuine to our members because we clearly care about them. You know, I can go back to times where I remember being in the bank and we would take a loan application. We would have to tell the customer that they were denied for the loan, and it was simply because of the credit score. And so our only option at that point as the banker in this situation was to tell the customer, you can go home, pull your credit report, you can bring it in to me and I can review it with you and try to help you. But that's really all I could do. Whereas here, we have the opportunity to truly listen to our members. We ask them if we can pull their credit report for them. We'll show our members what is on their credit report and guide them and help them and teach them how to repair their credit or enhance their credit and accomplish what their life goals are. I think that's really important because then we have the opportunity to listen to the members and provide them tailored solutions based on their stories. And the numbers speak for themselves because our Net Promoter Score, our NPS, is above 80 regularly. And if you compare that to banks, they're, I think, on average in the 30s. And our member loyalty is so high because they trust us. They come back to us. We often have members that do many loans with us over many years, and they'll tell their friends and family about us because we've impacted their lives so much.
Jennifer, that was a really honest answer and really awesome. And what I like most about that is there was no admission that banks were in fact better at anything than credit unions. So you actually win this. This was not a trick question, but after your answer, I'm like, that's the answer. Becky, should I even waste time asking you if you found anything better that banks do that credit unions can adopt? I mean, just run with this however you want.
Well, Jennifer nailed it. And I think that the differentiation with credit unions is the fact that we're smaller and more nimble. Every credit union, every single credit union, including the top 10 credit unions here in the United States, are smaller than most banks. And so every credit union is small. So every credit union has an opportunity to double down on what they do best. And because we're member-owned financial cooperatives, it is in our best interest to tailor and customize our services to our members. And yes, we may not have the best technology. We don't have the $18 billion budget or whatever that Chase has, right, on technology. But that personal experience is where we can actually make the difference. And that Net Promoter Score she talked about, that's massive. That is a massive opportunity that credit unions should really focus on.
But we can have the best technology. It's all in what we want to do and what we want to invest in. And we brought that all in house here. And so we're able to listen and read all of the member surveys, and our technology team will call our members. If they have feedback from their experience with our mobile app, we're able to talk with our members, understand what that feedback is, and be able to make adjustments or enhancements on our mobile app and do it quicker.
That's amazing.
Before we go any further in the show, I'm here with Bradley Hickey, Manager of Application Development at American Airlines Federal Credit Union, and he's here to talk about CU Build, a build-a-thon where credit union professionals come together to create solutions for the credit union industry. Brad, let's start with the big picture. What's the purpose behind CU Build? What are the benefits for credit unions that send their developers?
Yeah, CU Build is for anyone in credit union space, not just developers. We want everyone to come and grow the credit union space as a whole. We seek at CU Build to innovate, learn, and develop. And the magic sauce behind all of that is we are developing people as much as we are developing solutions. It's a really fun event. It's going to give your developers and innovators hands-on experience with lots of new technologies, lots of new ways of working. They're going to be put into projects on teams and do a pitch style event on a Sunday, just like a Shark Tank, and they have the potential to win prizes. We really believe that CU Build has the responsibility to lift all ships. And so we are lifting the ecosystem specifically within the Jack Henry ecosystem. And anyone who's just starting out on Scimitar or as a Power-On developer, or anyone who has lots of experience innovating can be on a team and really hit the ball out of the park for sure.
So just to be clear, this is for Jack Henry, Scimitar, Core folks, or anybody in any Jack Henry instance.
Yeah, anyone working in the Jack Henry ecosystem can participate.
Can you let me know details on like dates, locations, what's the tour like? I know you guys are out there touring with Motley Crue. So what are the dates? What are the locations? I want to put that on everyone's radar.
Yeah, sure. So CU Build this year, we will be in Nashville, Tennessee. It's over a weekend. So it's July 18th through the 20th. This is our 5th annual Build-a-thon, but it's very similar to what people think of as a hackathon. We chose to use the Build-a-thon terminology just because it's a little more palatable for credit unions, but it very much is like a hackathon setting. So everyone gets put on teams. They go in on a Friday, we kick off code, and they will have a ton of fun over the weekend, but really just all about building those solutions to help the credit union ecosystem. And then all of those solutions become open source for the Jack Henry ecosystem and for any credit union to use too. So that's really cool.
So you're developing for the whole gang, not just for selfish purposes, which we really like here on this show. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. And when going into CU Build, we knew that we had an opportunity to be a difference maker in this space. And we knew that really carving into that cooperative spirit was crucial. And so we very early on wanted to structure this as a nonprofit, structure all of our solutions to be open source. And so that's the main goal, is to lift all ships, like I said, and benefit everyone in the space.
Cool. Is there any other little tidbits about CU Build that you want to discuss that we haven't discussed? Anything you want to throw out there?
Yeah, I think one of the sort of underestimated things that people get out of CU Build is really the networking is big, for one. People often come away surprised at how deep of connections they make with their team members, because you're thrown onto teams with people you generally don't know. These are folks from other credit unions, could be folks from Scimitar partner vendors that are there to participate as well. We go through a pretty pragmatic process for building and structuring these teams. It's pseudo-random, but we have some strategic elements to it. And so we pride ourselves on having very cohesive and productive teams at the event. So there's some really good networking there. And then I would say the second thing that people tend to underestimate is the amount of skills that you will get at an event like this. Just being on teams with big power users that have kind of done this before, you will see some that are veterans that have been to other hackathons or like are multi-year participants at CU Build, and they have really awesome skills for just cranking stuff out, and being able to deliver a solution in a matter of a weekend is really awe-inspiring and exhilarating, and you will come away with lots of new skills to take back to your credit union. We have heard that time and time again from participants.
To anybody listening right now who wants to get involved or join you, what's the best way to sign up?
Yeah, just go to cubuild.org and click on register. We've got our Eventbrite link there. It's $99 to participate. Most folks walk out of there with more than that in prizes, and you certainly will walk out with lots more in experience and knowledge and grow your skills.
Very cool. Thank you for joining us today, Brad. Listen, if you like what you just heard and you want to register or you want to learn more about CU Build, head over to cubuild.org. That's cubuild.org. A growth lever in the industry has been branch expansions into retail spaces. So that's situating branches in high traffic locations where people already spend their time. Jennifer, Michigan First Credit Union has expanded its branch network to locations like Walmart's, Kroger stores, high traffic locations, big brand places, right? Having branches in these strategic locations, has it proven to be the driver of growth that you had hoped it would be?
Yeah, I absolutely love this topic. This is just who we are. And we're just trying to get out there in the community and just connect with people. And that can look different in different areas. And I think a key to that has been that we remain flexible with the types of locations that we have. We continue to focus on meeting members where they are and how they want to be served, how they want to connect with us. It might be weird for some of us that people don't want to speak with other people when they do their banking, and that's okay. But how do we now serve those members really well? So this has been a big key strategic driver for us. And a big way for us to be able to drive growth has been to just understand our members. And with that, we have focused a lot on, of course, technology and having a digital first mindset, but then also expanding our branch locations. A few areas that we've done this is the digital branch. This past year, although there might be a lot of credit unions that have already done this where they open up accounts online, we were a little bit hesitant to do that due to the risk there. But we are proud that we're able to open up accounts online and we're able to do that quickly this past year. But with that, it doesn't stop just there. If there are members out there, which there are, that prefer not to step foot in the branch, how can we serve them for anything that they would need to actually physically come into a branch for? How can we serve them now virtually? And make it easy and make it convenient on their time. And one of the things that we have to help all the time is that we have a 24/7, 365 live call center. It's all in-house. We don't outsource this. So if a member ever wants to talk with us, we're always available to them. So that was a big component for our digital branch. The other thing is we are looking at this year adding a mobile branch. There are many areas within Michigan, or I'm sure within the US, that are underserved when it comes to banking, and we want to be there for members. And as a CDFI, a community development financial institution, this is very important for us to be able to provide access to banking for community members. We also are reevaluating where our branches are. We had a branch in Grand Rapids that was in the middle of a housing development behind a fire station. Nobody knew we were there. And so we relocated that branch this past year on a much busier road in Grand Rapids, and we were excited about that expansion. And lastly, the other thing that you were talking about was our in-store model in Kroger and Meijer and Walmart. This is important for us because really we just want to connect with community members. We want to make it easy. We found, for instance, when we added Walmart, that the studies showed that a lot of our members were already shopping at Walmart. So why not add a location and make it a one-stop shop for our members? And our members are thrilled, by the way. When they find out that we have popped up in this location and we have a location in their Walmart, they're so excited because they know it's us, and they know our culture, and they know the service level that they come to expect. And we're happy to be able to provide that now 32 locations statewide. We do not sell in the aisles when we're at these in-stores. We don't want to be that type of person out there. I'm sure we've all gone to a certain retail store and you walk in and then all of a sudden somebody's trying to sell you something and you have to quickly turn your cart the other way. It's just awkward. And so we want to make sure that we're approachable. We also don't dress in suits in the aisles. We don't want to be thought of as corporate, from Kroger, or from whatever the grocery store is, and then for the member not to approach us. We want to make sure that we are able to just connect with people, help them find whatever it is that they're looking for, the salt, the sugar, the flour, and we will walk around the grocery store with them and help them find whatever they're looking for. And at the end of the conversation, we'll just simply say, hey, we're actually from Michigan First. We're here to help you whenever you need anything. That approach has worked so well for us. We continue to find that Kroger and Meijer and Walmart want to add us in additional locations because we are a very good partner with them in just serving community members.
Becky, Jennifer said so many good things. There's so many lanes to go down that I feel like I'm going to put the onus on you, Becky, as a choose your own adventure to go down any path that Jennifer just talked about. It could be the digital account opening online. It could be the in-store branches. It could be a number of things. Becky, the mic is yours.
Well, I think the digital experience that Jennifer talked about is table stakes now, right? That's just something that we have to do. That's what people expect. And certainly some members will not go that path, but that is kind of a minimum expectation now for a financial institution. I think what I loved about what Jennifer said is being where the members can see you, where the community can see you. And all the things that she described, her culture and all of that, how are people going to experience it without actually walking along with you, without talking to you? And what better way to interact with people in the community than going into the grocery store? Right? I mean, there's no better way. And so if you want to talk about building your brand, there is absolutely no better way than to have actual live people that are interacting with the people in the community who may or may not be members, walking alongside them to help them find the sugar. I mean, what an amazing way to advertise your brand.
That brings us to the end of the show. Jennifer, do you have any final thoughts or plugs regarding anything we talked about today?
Yeah, thank you again for the opportunity to be able to share and talk a lot of really great concepts about, again, just helping people. That includes our team members, that includes our members, and continue to be proactive and listen. And don't just listen to respond, listen to take action. And that goes for both your team members and your members. And if you're doing that, you will continue to make really valuable improvements for the future of your organization.
Becky, final thoughts or plugs. You are at GAC. Maybe you want to plug something. I don't know. Final thoughts or plugs. You choose. You can do one or the other, or you can do both.
Well, I think for credit unions, I mean, here we are in March, right? And a lot of times we talk about planning sessions and getting ready for the following year as we head into usually Q3 and Q4 of the year. But I think this year, it's really important to start planning now. We talked earlier about all the changes that are happening in Washington. And oh my gosh, it's like every day is something different, right? This has changed. That's changed. This has been discovered, or this department is being moved over there, or whatever the case may be. And I think it's time to shake up the credit union space too. There are lots of things, especially as it relates to emerging technology, that credit unions no longer need to be sitting on the sideline. It's not a time anymore to be looking and saying, I wonder if we should consider that. Now's the time to consider it. And I'm talking about emerging technology such as distributed ledger technology, AI, crypto, all of those things, because guess what? The bank regulators have been given kind of the green light and the thumbs up right now. And many of them have been waiting for the last 2 or 3 years to really get into this space. They're going to get into this space now. They already are. And so credit unions, that safe kind of mindset where we'll wait and see what other people do, please, please, please put it in your planning sessions now. Be talking to your boards about this now. If you want to learn more about it, go find somebody who can give you some education. There's several people in the space, including me, that can provide that type of education. Not just me, though. Plenty of people. Just jump on it right now. Don't be scared or shy.
Becky, as always, you're my favorite co-host in the world. Thank you. Jennifer, thank you for being a wonderful guest. And then, of course, I got to thank you, the listeners, for continuing to support and listen to another episode of Grow Your Credit Union. Remember, if you like the show, if you're digging it, follow us on your podcast player of choice or share this episode with someone who you think might benefit. If you want to be a guest or would like to talk about sponsorship opportunities, head to growyourcreditunion.com to learn more. Thank you for listening, and we will see you next time. Take care and bye-bye.